Well, hi there. I'm Doug, and I'm running for president for 2028. So, as part of this campaign, you need to know more about me. And that is a challenging thing for me because I don't generally open up a lot about that. But I am a father, I have a wife, I have kids. They live all over the United States. 5 kids, California, Missouri, and I even have one here in the Virgin Islands. So I'm here on Estate Mount Washington. It's a gorgeous afternoon. And I would love to say that I have wonderful things to say, but the more I look at the news and the more I read about what's going on and people's views about what is happening in government, it makes me dread because there are more people out there who are more concerned about how they can gain power and how they can control government than they are about what is our government doing to help us. We need a government that works. And we can't have people telling us, oh, well, the law is the law, and granted, we disagree with this part of the law, so we're just not going to obey it and think it's okay. That's not cool. And then you have people who are sitting there fighting to have the U.S. government spend money that it just plain doesn't have because they have contracts and they have this and they have that. And yet we have a government that has more employees in it than any private corporation anywhere in the world. It is absolutely insane. And granted, I feel sorry for people who get fired from their jobs. It doesn't feel good. But at the end of the day, when you go into a business that seemingly your thought is, oh, once I get a job there, I never have to worry about ever getting fired because I have a union that's going to be there to protect me and prevent me from getting fired. Well, as I see it, if you're not doing the job that you're being hired to do, then you deserve to be fired. And if you're not following the directives of the people who are in charge, unless you have a valid way to say, hey, they're not doing what they need to be doing, and that you're following the law, and you're going to follow the law no matter what, even if the people above you are saying do X and you're going to do Y because it's following the law while X is not, then you have a leg to stand on. But so many of these employees have looked at their jobs as, something that will give them a pension and a paycheck for the rest of their life. Well, a paycheck or a pension, but either way, it's not a guarantee and should never be a guarantee. And when people come into political office, they shouldn't be out there trying to show that they're the master of all and that they're the most intelligent person in the room, because generally, when they do that, they're not. really aren't. There's a lot of things going on in this world. And there's a lot of things that the American people can help do and cover and make things better. But, it shouldn't be a situation where we have to be awakened giants to go and do something. And so much has happened in the past of the United States in our history, and it's really, it doesn't show that we're as great as we say we should be, and yet we're probably the most unique country in the entire world. We have a governmental system that allows log jams. While that is true in lots of governments, ours it's especially that way. And when you have people that are out trying to say, hey, we're going to make this better by changing it and improving it, and not going through the processes because they can just executive order it, well, that's not all cool too. But there is ways that can be done. It's within the Constitution. It is allowed at some point. But we have an executive branch, a legislative branch, and a judicial branch for a reason. But we shouldn't be using the powers that we have to go against a specific person because we disagree with them wholeheartedly in every way, shape, or form. It's not a situation where we should be deciding based on power and power structure who's going to lead the country. And today, if the Democrats want to go and try and impeach Donald Trump again for a third time, what's that going to do? Because just because you impeach doesn't mean that he's going to get removed from office. You have to have more than just what's going on. And when you have somebody like Elon Musk, who's been tasked with finding inefficiencies in government, and to sit there and go, he's an evil person, where's his evilness? I haven't read one story yet where one person who sat there and said, Elon Musk is evil, has been able to shed a light onto what he's doing that's evil. And yet those statements are being made. And Elon Musk is just taking it. On the other hand, in some cases, he just shrugs it off. It's not that big of a deal. He's dealt with that kind of rejection in the past. And maybe that rejection is one where, because he has been through it and he has seen it, that he knows that those seeking to impose their will and trying to say, these things are bad, well, maybe they're actually good. They're just not following what they want things to have happen. We have an immigration system that I've been being told has been broken for 50 years. Yet, we haven't been able to figure it out. I have a hard time believing that we're not figuring it out. I think that there's not a will to figure it out. And we have a few people who do have a will to try and figure it out. but they're not being supported by other people in government because there are other people who don't want to go through the process to ensure that the people who can immigrate and come to the United States do it in a legal way that is, let's put it this way, is more cost effective to them. It's not cheap to come to the United States. It's not even cheap to say, I don't want to be a United States citizen anymore and go live someplace else. Honestly, the United States government thinks that you should pay all the money that they've spent in the legislature and that the legislative branch is allowed because they say so. There's problems here. We need to get spending under control. We don't need rebates. I haven't met a rebate check that has come back to me that hasn't come to bite me yet. I've gotten tax returns that at the end of the day, I get told our income. You know, those kinds of things, the rules don't make sense. We need to change the rules. The tax system needs to change. There's ways to change it that makes it better and makes it more effective. And we need to start looking into those ways. We need to stop punishing people for working by taxing their income. We need to stop making it where we say, oh, the rich don't pay any taxes. Well, of course the rich don't pay any taxes because they're producing things. And when they produce things, when you make them have to collect and pay taxes, what do? They just tack it onto the price of the product and then the consumer pays it. So let's stop that process and let's start taxing consumption in a different way that makes sense so that you pay a fair tax when you make your purchases, so that you're not paying somebody thousands of dollars to process your taxes for you that ends up saving you, 45 cents on your tax bill, but costs you $2,000. It's insane. It's not right. It's not cool. And when government hires thousands and thousands of people, giving them jobs to try and collect money, and then we're also giving people jobs to figure out how to spend money. Why are we out there giving jobs to people that their whole job is to figure out how to spend money? Doesn't make sense. Granted, there are places where our generosity and our willingness to help is greatly needed. But if you want to go and write a check to Ukraine and have it help Ukraine, you can do that. But it's not going to take any money off your income tax. On the other hand, if you're not being taxed on your income and you decide to do that, it's not going to hurt your income tax either. There is a situation here. We need to get on track. Getting on track is more important than all these other things that people are complaining about. We have issues with education, we have issues with security, we have issues with how business operates, we have issues with what this group believes versus what this group believes, and we have issues in the courts where this guy is suing this guy because of what this guy believes over what this guy believes. We have renewable energies. We have consumable energies. We have so many different ways to generate energy, and yet we're fighting amongst ourselves. And then we have pseudo-government agencies telling us that we can't do something because the people in charge of those pseudo-government agencies feel like they're the ones who have to have all the power, and they want, a certain area to look a certain way, and if you plant this tree or that plant or put a solar panel on your roof, that you're breaking their personal rules, and that's just unfair. And we have people literally getting murdered over stupid things like that. We have a medical problem. We've got government mandated insurance that's causing insurance executives to get shot and killed. What in the hell is this world coming to? Why do we put up with that in the United States? Because we don't understand. We have a lack of will. We have a group of people who want to tell us how we need to live our lives. And until we start standing up for ourselves and letting those people know that if you're not going to do what we're asking you to do, we're going to vote your asses out of office. Instead of going, well, they did an okay job, and, it's okay what they did, because, the next guy's not going to be any better, so we'll just stick with the guy that's there. No, that's stupid. We need to stop being stupid. We need to become educated and understand the policies, understand what the policies are of the people that are trying to negotiate on our behalf in a way that we disagree with. I personally disagree with how the issue with Ukraine is being handled. I'm vocal about it. I'm telling you, I don't like it. I don't like how the United States has dealt with the people in Gaza. I don't see why, when there's a war going on and people have been asked to leave an area, that we would provide supplies to the people living in that area when it's being bombed to bits because the military terrorists in that area have taken the lives of hundreds of people on the other side that did nothing to force that. And they're just responding back. They're reacting. And to sit there and say, oh, your reaction is bad because you have a political belief that's one direction and not the same as the ones on the other side. Those kinds of things frustrate me, but I want to hear what other people have to say. I do want to know what people who disagree with my opinions have to say. I want to be able to think and have a better understanding and a better knowledge of the world. Just because I have one set of beliefs doesn't mean that I cannot change my beliefs, but I need to be presented with ideas that make sense. These news agencies that are just pushing ideas are not giving me what I need to know to believe that we're getting a positive result out of the money that the United States is spending. And I don't believe that certain events need to have political speech all the time. Now, does that mean that we don't have a First Amendment? Of course we have a First Amendment. Heck, I'm here speaking my mind. We need to have that First Amendment. We need to be able to speak our minds. Does that mean that we have a right to speak it in every single place? Well, yes and no. If we're doing it in a rally situation, then we need to follow the rules, because when you have a rally, there's a large number of people, and that causes problems. So to ensure that you have the least impact on those who are not engaging in what your ideas are, but still allows you to get your message to the people that you are trying to impact, then yeah. When protests go onto freeways to block up highway traffic, those people should be getting locked up and put in jail because they're not following the rules. They're just being a crowd that's out of control, and they're not following the rules. We need to have rules. We need to have laws. They need to make sense. But to fine us for stupid little things that we've done wrong, where the impact is really not on government, then why should government be fining us and impacting us? I don't think they should. But government shouldn't prevent you from your freedom of speech. Shouldn't bar you from freedom of religion. It shouldn't bar you from your Second Amendment rights to bear arms. Now, are there situations in which we could ensure that a better way to transfer weapons happens better? Yeah, there's things that we haven't done yet. I think that's for another, well, let me mention it here. So when somebody goes in and buys a weapon, you have a waiting period. And that waiting period is, a day to a month. It all depends on how long it takes to get the background check and everything through. But there are gun sellers who really would like to see that somebody purchasing a gun needs to go see a therapist to ensure that their mental health is such that they have a mental capacity to handle a firearm properly, and that they're not going to take that firearm out and go shoot up the public. It's an action that is proactive. It doesn't prevent you from getting a firearm, and it would require states to ensure that people who are providing those assessments are trained properly, and that could be implemented in a timely manner that has the best impact and would reduce the chances of some of these mass shootings that we're seeing. It's not that hard to ensure that these background checks work. But having somebody have to see a counselor to approve it, to say, yep, you're mentally stable. Isn't that what we want? We want to have mentally stable people that own firearms. Well, I've spoken enough today, and I still have a number of things that I need to get done to get to live streams, and I'm working on getting there. And there's things I need to learn to get there. I need to either that or I need to hire some people to do that. Right now, resources are a little tight as I am looking for the long run on this, not the short run. So if you have the will and the desire to like and subscribe and then suggest this to others, I would happily, I would be greatly pleased to get more subscribers to this channel. And I really want you guys' input. Let me know what you think, where I'm going. And I don't care if you tell me, hey, I'm nuts for doing this and I have no chance. Man, that's fine with me. But if you believe that this is good and what I'm saying has a chance, then let me know. And at some point here, I will be putting up a way for you to donate into this process. But there's a lot of other things that has to happen first. And a bunch of it has to do with, I need to understand the rules a little bit better. So we're going to stick here for now. And we're going to let you know that, hey, I'm out here. I'm trying to get this done, and I want people to know who I am. So you all have a wonderful week, and I will be again posting later this week. I don't have an accurate posting time frame yet, but that's coming soon too. So lots of moving pieces happening, but like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.